Here's a fun video comparison we've been thinking of doing. These are two bats that are constructed almost exactly the same. This is the Cannon Boombah, or the Boombah Cannon from, of course, Boombah. And then the new hybrid 5150, the 2016 Rawlings bat. These are both 3020s. They're both 3020 bats. They both have composite handles. They both have aluminum or alloy barrels, and then they both have composite end caps that actually come down about 2 inches or so into the bottom of the barrel. These little circles actually show you the distance when the barrel gets to maximum size. You can see the 5150 is just slightly gets there a little bit faster than the Boombah. Interestingly, although we can't really measure it, the transition here on the Boombah is actually a little bit slower than on the Rawlings. So while the Rawlings gets to the barrel bigger or faster, to maximum barrel faster, Boombah seems to taper out a little bit slower. So I don't know which one you like better, or if it ultimately even really matters. But both these bats are constructed almost exactly the same, and it's going to be fun to do our little speed test here. So we're going to have True get these bats and start drilling them into the fence, and we'll get the speed gun on them and see what we can do. I always hesitate a little bit, and I say this in about every video I've made for speed tests. I hesitate a little bit when we start measuring bat speed in a pretty unscientific way, which is just with this speed gun and them hitting it into the fence. There's a lot of ways this thing could not be accurate. Ultimately, I think what you'll find is that with these high performance bats, everything's hitting it hard, and everything's hitting it well. It's just a function of finding the right type of bat by way of swing weight for your son or your daughter. That was 58. That was a 50. This is the 5150, I guess you're going with first, not true? There you go. All right, switch over to the Cannon now. Let's see if we can get any different in a reading. I suspect they're going to be pretty similar. 53, I don't know. 5150's winning so far. Oh, he's rearing back. Another 53. 52. Interesting. Again, it's fun to see these numbers, no doubt about it. I would hesitate saying that this is the proof in the pudding. There's 56, for example. This is the proof in the pudding of one bat being better than another. It ultimately comes down to what the kid feels like is the best bat for him and what he feels like he can swing the hardest with the right amount of weight to actually get some distance on it. If you wanted to be real scientific about it, you'd find that every 1 mile an hour at the perfect angle, every 1 mile an hour gets you roughly 5 feet, and there's 58 right there. So look, the bats are exactly the same. What are the odds? But you'll find that every 1 mile an hour gets you 5 feet in distance. So, you know, if you can find a bat that gives you 2 or 3 miles an hour, that might not seem like a lot, but the truth is 15 feet may be the difference between, you know, an out and a double, or a double and a home run. All right, one more. 58, you kind of matched it. In my very unscientific way, I would say the average on the 5150 was probably a little bit higher. The Boombah Cannon, they both had the peak max, but again, maybe he tired out in his last 6 hits versus his first 6 hits. So I think that was a false reading that popped off the metal there, because it said 88 miles an hour. Let's give him one more. Let's see. This is the winner. If it's above 52, we'll say it's equal. That was beautiful. That actually was 60 miles an hour, and I believe it. That's what happens when you hit it right at the gun. So there you go. That was the Boombah Cannon. Based on our very unscientific results, it officially had a higher max. I think the 5150 averaged out a little better. What'd you like better, Truman, if you could choose between those two?
I don't know.
Feel really similar, right?
Yeah. They have the same kind of pop. Yeah. Feel really good. I like them.
Yeah, I think they're both real similar bats. I feel like the Rawlings have a little more lighter swing weight than the Cannon does, but I think in the end they're real similar.